Go ahead, just fire
the
away.
most important job interview of their lives. What do you think? What do they go through mentally every time?
Well, this is, really a test they've been preparing for 5 and 6 and 7 years. And, then when the season's over, a lot of these guys know that there's certain question marks that they have to answer in their pro day, and whether it's how explosive they are, how strong they are, how well they run, their agility. And, they take it very seriously. And they've been doing a lot of these drills, and it's a lot of pressure. Now there's certain guys that have been to the combine, like Blake and AT, that most of their evaluation's done, and then here they get a chance to run routes and catch the football. But for a lot of the other guys, late round draft picks, free agents, this day is a huge day for them.
How important is it for the program to have this many NFL teams show up, to have this many guys performing in front of the NFL teams?
You know what, we've really had this now for the last 4 or 5 years, so I think this is just the new standard, that we expect this every year. I think our first year here, we maybe had 3 NFL scouts here, and they were outside. It was pouring rain sideways, and it wasn't fair to the players, and there wasn't a lot of interest. And the better players we recruit and the more games we win, these are all because of what they've done. I mean, these players have elevated the program, and this is their reward. They get a lot more attention than they used to get before when we didn't win games.
Coach, for you, what is it like, another year, another scouting combine here, to see your guys be able to show off in front of these NFL scouts?
I'm excited for them. I'm proud of them, and regardless of how they do today. These guys, every single one of them have degrees, and the great thing about Wake Forest is today's really important, and we want these guys to go on and make the NFL or make the CFL and play professional football. But you feel really good knowing if that doesn't work out, they're still going to have a really good life plan. So, and I want this for them as bad as they do, but it's nice to know that their plan B, because of their Wake Forest degree, they're going to be in great shape. So, guys like Luke Masterson, Luke made it. And if Luke wouldn't have made it, he'd be fine.
What's the dynamics between a college coach and an NFL scout? Because I can't imagine a college coach ever saying, "Oh, he's a bum, you don't want him." You know what I mean? It's like, what are the conversations like?
You have to be honest, and if they ask specific questions, you're going to give honest answers. And that's why with our players, it's great, because the honest answers are almost always positive answers. You look at what these guys have accomplished on the football field, you look at their strength numbers, you look at their GPAs, the fact that they've graduated, the fact that they play in bowl games. There's so many positive things to say about our guys that it's, you're rarely here caught in that awkward of, I want to be truthful, but I don't want to hurt them. That rarely comes up here.
You mentioned Luke Masterson in passing. Does it help your guys that are preparing to go out today to know that they can parlay a good performance on a day like today into an invitation to a camp?
Yeah, the goal of today for these guys isn't to become a first-round draft pick. The goal is to show enough that someone says that player is worth bringing to camp. And then once you get to camp, you get a chance to prove you can stick. And where Luke has really helped our program, and a lot of other guys that we've had made it. Greg Dortch was a free agent that's still playing. Is just how good those guys are at special teams. That if you look at the players here who have made it and have stuck, other than John Wolford as a quarterback and offensive lineman, all those guys have played multiple special teams. And I'm sure that's one of the reasons Luke made it. I'm sure that's why Jasir Taylor's doing so well. That the value they bring on special teams units.
Dave, we've seen Justice Ellison here, Chase Jones, like the guys who are going through spring right now, does seeing this kind of live give them a little bit extra to kind of break through whatever wall they're hitting in the spring?
You hope so. Yesterday after practice, we told our team that this is the pro day schedule, and it's twofold. The number one reason they should be here is to support their teammates. This is their family, spend a ton of time with them, and we're here to support them. But the second is, if this is a goal you have and an aspiration you have, don't you want to see what they do? Don't you want to see, if you're a linebacker, Chase Jones, okay, what field drills are they going to put Ryan Spenda through? So that you know a year from now you're going to have to do the same things. So again, the number one reason I want them here is to support their teammates. But if they're smart, and Wake Forest football players are usually pretty smart, they're taking notes on a year from now, this is what I'm going to have to prepare for.
What kind of things do you tell the guys, if anything, before they come out here? What advice do you give them, if any at all?
Good luck. Right at this point, they have so many people in their ear, agents and all this, that we're at this point, we're fans. We're rooting for them. We want them to do well. We're proud of them. But you have to be very careful once a player graduates of getting involved in who their agent is and recommending this or recommending that, because they have to be responsible for their own outcomes. So if they ask for help or advice, we'll give it. But at this point, they have so many different people in their ears. We're cheerleaders.
Do they ask for advice? I mean, they've been part of your family here for years. Do they come to you for
Some
much?
of them do, and like we always leave the meetings and say, listen, we're here for you, and if you want advice on, where to train or what agent, but it's a little bit when somebody goes through the recruiting process, it always works best when the parents guide the process, but the player makes the decision. That way he owns the decision. And I think it's the same way their post-college life. We're here to help them. We can give them advice on, how to pick an agent or where to train and what things to look for. But at the end of the day, they're 22, 23-year-old men that are educated and smart, and they have to make decisions that are best for them.
Today's all about numbers, but over your career, I assume you've had players where the numbers stink, but you're like, I want that guy. He's a great football player, but the numbers don't match it.
Yeah, and again, it's the whole weeding out process and evaluation process is different for every college football program. I mean, how many players have we taken here that we were their only Power 5 offer? And we were just talking about it earlier, that a lot of those guys turn out to be our best players. I mean, Jesse Bates, we were his only Power 5 offer. Sage Surratt, Greg Dortch, Sam Hartman. It goes on and on and on. And so a little bit for the NFL and more so for college, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And if we see skill sets and traits that we think can be successful in our program, we take those guys. And I think the better teams in the NFL do the same thing. There's a little bit of this groupthink that, we all have them rated here, we all have them rated here. And I think some of the teams that really do their homework and do the dig, the deep dig on players, on their character and their work ethic and who loves football, those are the organizations that are successful.